Hey, welcome back to Observing Muse with me, Hannah Edge. So today, as I promised, we're doing football. So I thought, because I'm crazy, I was going to go all the way to Macclesfield and get you some shots of my favourite stadium, which is Macclesfield Town, the Silkmen, because the poems that I'm going to do are about them. There's two poems, so you're getting a bit of a treat today, but maybe less waffling for a change, eh? The first poem is literally about the first time I ever went to a football match when I was 7, and I'd never been to a match. I didn't really know what football was. They had free tickets for my local team, so I went with my granddad, and I fell in love with the sport. It was just everything for me. I don't know why. It was just beautiful, and especially when it's lower league and it's more rugged and there's loads of mud flying around and tackles going in and less yellow cards. It's a bit more exciting in that regard. A lot of miss hits, shall we say, miss strikes and whatnot. So yeah, so Macclesfield Town this year unfortunately passed away, if you can say that about a football team. I don't want to disrespect anybody that's lost, people that they care about, but for me football is like a person. It is like a family member, and I cried. And I've been crying for a couple of years whenever I think about it, because I saw it coming, because the previous manager was a scumbag that didn't pay his taxes, didn't pay his wages for the players or the managers. Obviously it was the taxes that got him, because the government don't care about the players not getting paid. And when I say they're not getting paid, we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of pounds if people ask that don't really know how football works. We're talking, they were on minimum wage, they were on your salary, So imagine having to go to work for a full month, work your bag off, do the best you can, which they did, given that they were promoted more than once in recent times. But imagine you go to work and you don't get paid for that, and you have to fight tooth and nail to get those wages. You can't feed your kids, you can't pay bills, you can't have a roof over your head. Football isn't all about the glory. It's not all about Cristiano Ronaldo, unfortunately. There's a lot more players that are on minimum wage than there are on the big money. So this is a shout out to all of them players more than anything, because they work their asses off and they get very little reward for it, especially if they played for Macclesfield Town, because they didn't even get that basic reward of, paid. So yeah, first poem is coming up. I'm going to try and do it in a couple of different cuts, because there being more than one, and because I want to share with you the devastation of what I found yesterday when I went to Macclesfield Town football ground. So yeah, coming up is the first poem. Hello, Silkmen. Still small enough to duck under the rusty turnstile, its coat of blue paint now just a suggestion. Through the cavernous tunnel, tangled in a throng of grown men sporting blue and white scarves, replica shirts stretched over beer bellies. I smell stale sweat overlaid with Old Spice and Bovril. Loud chatter, chants, laughter, a buzz of excited energy as en masse we emerge among stands of plastic blue seats already half full with yet more grown men. I make my way to the front, the standing only area. My nose is assailed with the scent of freshly mown turf. My eyes are overwhelmed by the ocean of glistening green. 22 men stepped out onto the pitch, royal blue versus mustard yellow. At the sound of a whistle from a man, all in black, they began to dance. So that was Hello Silkman. I hope you like it. It was, like I said, about the first time I ever went to a football match, and that was Macclesfield Town. My babies, miss you guys so much. So this next poem, I just want to add an addendum to this, because in the last few months there's been an amazing thing that's happened for Macclesfield Town Football Club, which is that, changing their name, they are now a Phoenix club. They have risen from the ashes of our previous owner, who fire to us and burnt us and turned us into rubble, as you will see by the pictures that I've shown you. Rob Smethwick is a legend. Already, I love you, mate. And Robbie Savage, yes, 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 yes. I jumped for joy when I heard that you were going to be involved with my babies. And the sheer joy that you have for Macclesfield Town and your sons, your children, I don't know if you have girls, I'm sorry, but your children absolutely love Mactown and you go with them. And I listen to you on 606. I'm gushing a little bit, but yes, as a local, originally local Mac girl, you're going to save our asses, and that makes me so happy. But when I wrote this poem, it was before Rob Smethwick took over and bought Mac and fixed what's happened. So I was still grieving when I wrote this poem, and to be fair, it still stands because we are back, or we will be back, but we're no longer Macclesfield Town FC. And I know it sounds silly that just one tiny little word's been removed, so we're still really the same. And yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that AFC Wimbledon would beg to differ. I'm sure that Bury Town would beg to differ, and any future club that I'm adamant it's going to happen to, because the EFL and the Premier League do not look after the baby teams. They don't care, and it's so frustrating when they are the ones that hold up the rest of the league. And without them, without this world-class league pyramid system that you will not get anywhere else, mini pyramids, yes, but nothing on the scale of our pyramid system, and watching it die. And COVID, mate, you've killed it quicker. You are literally the sledgehammer to the EFL. I really hope that the majority of the clubs come out of this still alive and still standing, and that other fans like me that support their clubs, whether it be Stockport or Accrington Stanley or Southport or Bath or I don't care, all those little teams, Port Vale, which are my local team now and are like the antithesis of what happened to Macclesfield when I watch what their owners are doing. So big shout out to the Valiants, man, for doing it the correct way. I wish that just down the road, we're talking 40-minute drive, I wish they'd watched. And hopefully Smethwick does, because yeah, I want to get back into the stadium rooting for my boys, man. And girls, if you in the future can afford to have both gender teams, that would be insanely cool too. Obviously, women's football is becoming brilliant. Like it's getting there, man. I'm so happy for that. It's about bloody time that we started watching it and respecting it, and we started to go through those turnstiles and buy the tickets, because buying the tickets is what pays the wages initially, and from that they will then get sponsorship, which they will then use to increase the wages even more. And that's how football works, and that's why the top teams can afford to pay such silly wages. And that's going to happen soon. I can see it happening with the WSL. We're nearly there. Smell it. It's good, isn't it? Anyway, digressing. So we're going to move on to the other poem really quickly, and that is called Goodbye, Silkmen. So I hope you enjoy this one. I watched your death from the sidelines. As the whistle blew your death knell, I wept, sobbed, like I'd lost a brother. I watched your death from the stands. My heart broke. I stood helpless as one man's greed took over. I watched your death from another town, from the doorstep of an opposing team whose owners ran things properly. A tax-grabbing cancer spread to your heart, starved its players of food and rent money, signed a manager who could afford to wait. Journalists warned us, like doctors warn of a treatable brain tumour if operated on immediately. Such arrogance and lack of love. He refused to sell or pay his way, so now we say goodbye. No more days, sat in a sea of blue and white joy as we cheer you on, encouraging goals and excellent saves. No more cup nights where you stand toe to toe with the big boys 80 spots higher, where you concede early on but still win 2-1. No more ecstasy or jubilation, just cold, hollow nights with floodlights turned off, overgrown grass and bittersweet memories. So yeah, that was the 2 poems that I've written and are in my book, all about Silkmen, Macclesfield FC. I'm going to call them now out of respect to the Phoenix Club. Can't wait for them to kick off and do something about these images that I have shared with you, lovely people, and hopefully the rebirth will be the making of us. Hopefully we'll move on and become a force to be reckoned with. Maybe League One, maybe the Championship. Eventually, we're looking at least 2 decades minimum. I mean, I've been waiting 3 decades and all I watched was us die, not get better. So, but that's not what football is about. Football is about the beauty. It's about the smell of the turf. It's about watching players join forces. And right now, a good example is watching every single player take a knee, because it's about unity and it's about loving our fellow people and caring for one another. And if you can raise awareness about certain things, do it, man. Yeah, go for it. Like, taking a knee is really important. And to those Millwall fans that are scum of the earth, you're scum of the earth, and you do not represent the vast majority of this country or the vast majority of football fans. The vast majority of football fans these days are more like me, and they are inclusive and they love other football clubs as well as their own. Not like, obviously, if we're playing each other, I'm going to obviously want to beat your ass, but it doesn't mean that I don't respect you or other fans of your club, unless maybe in Middlesbrough. No, I'm only kidding. Sorry guys, sorry kid. No, it's really important, sport, for me. I think it brings people together, and a lot of people look at football and think, oh, just the money, that's all they see. They don't realise that there's a lot more to it than that. And this summer was really hard for people like me who work well with routine, and I hadn't realised how much of a routine, how important my routine of football was until the first Saturday without it, and I was just at a loss. And I wasn't the only one. We were all in it, and it was crap. And even now it's a bit weird watching football, and I hate that the small clubs are literally playing themselves into the ground right now in order to survive. And I hate the Premier League, and I include my beautiful Liverpool in this. Like, adore you, Liverpool, but I include you in this. You've got the money, help them. Don't make a profit for a year, it won't kill you. They don't make a profit ever, and it's killing them. Maybe, help out if you can. If I could, I would. And I'm sure a lot of your players would as well. And a lot of your players have, to be fair, done so, and they've done so much. It's the business suits at the top, man. You don't care about football, do you? You don't care about the dance. I wish you did, because I think that would make a big difference to the sport in general and to the grassroots, which I'm sure Savage would agree with me on. Because without grassroots, you wouldn't have the players that we have. If you didn't have grassroots, you wouldn't have the England team. You wouldn't have Harry Kane. You wouldn't have Marcus Rashford. You wouldn't have Raheem Sterling. Because without grassroots, those players don't get to play. Harry Maguire, you name it. Every single one of those at 5 years old picked up a football and went and played in the local park. If you take away those opportunities and those little clubs that help those players to showcase their talent for the big teams to see, then we've got nothing. And people like me, we pay to go and watch those lower league teams. We're quite happy to fork out 20 quid to go and watch them play instead of 60 quid to go and visit, watch my Liverpool. I mean, I'd love to fork out 60 quid for that, but I'd much rather spend 60 quid on 3 tickets for 3 different matches to go and watch my babies play, my men, my Silkmen. I'm still waiting. So yeah, over and out for now anyway. You all take care. one important piece of information actually before I actually go. One really, really important piece of information. Talking football does this to me. My book has been released early. My publisher, Gleis Nauwith, have decided that let's take advantage of the Christmas and get it out now. So I will show you this, but this isn't actually a copy for resale. This is the proof copy, which means it's riddled with errors. I'm going to be getting a copy, don't worry. But for now, this is what I've been using until the release date. So welcome to my world. This is Those Days These Days, and it is out now, $6.99, so it's not too expensive, I hope. And it's available on Amazon. You can also get the ebook. I believe that is also out now. If not, just pay an extra couple of quid and get the hard copy, and then you can have it on your bookshelf and keep walking past going, oh, yeah, look, it's edgy. Anyway, yeah, the book is out, and I'm really excited about that, and I really hope that you go out there and buy it and enjoy what you read. As I've said before, click like, subscribe, leave me some comments, tell me I'm shit, tell me I'm ace, it's entirely up to you. Yeah, big hugs to the world. Enjoy the rest of the year. Merry fucking Christmas.